case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barreiro's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Did the USA guy win the, what was that event that you were
The snowboard
touting?
cross.
Did he win it?
He did not.
He did not.
Finished third.
Finished third.
Tough break.
Yeah, it's tough competition, man.
It
That's
is. But it's fun to watch. I love it. Olympics.
What's the difference between the big final and the little final?
I think this is, I don't know if that
the
was
last
just a
one was the little
consolation.
final.
Yeah, I'm
so
not
does
sure.
little mean consolation? Does that mean the contestants are smaller? Or does it mean something else? We don't know.
I think
I'm not
it's
a
more
great...
of a double elimination thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
All right.
But I think this is it. I don't think there's an American in this race. But I think this is for gold, silver, bronze, the whole...
This is big.
For all the
all
marbles.
the marbles, as we say. All right.
Olympic hockey, both big, at least teams in North America played. Canada dominated Czechia. It was a 0-0 first period until like 5 seconds left when Celebrini scored. So it was a fairly even game as well, just the same as the American one. But then the second period happened and you go, oh, okay, we've got our feet under us and now we're going. And Canada stepped on the gas. Very similar games, the two of them. I would say the U.S. got a little bit more unlucky with some of the breaks as far as goals getting called back. And I just saw a tweet in the break that, this is exactly... There's no tolerance for international rules. If there's any if you lay a finger on the goalie, it's going to get called back.
That's
fine.
It is. Just deal with it.
Then you got to
adjust to the rules.
You do. I think it's a bad rule.
We won 5-1.
Yeah, I'm not tripping about it anymore. But yes, the U.S., if you're just tuning in, 5-1 winners over Latvia. Brock Nelson scored 2 goals from the bottom 6, but you got Kachuk's chipping in. You've got Austin Matthews chipping in. Overall, very successful first game for USA.
Yeah, exactly. And whatever nervousness there was after that first period, it went away pretty quickly with a dominant performance in period number 2. We are in, of course, the prelims, but nevertheless, it's the first chance we've had to take a look at how this team plays together, how it works together, and they had no difficulty dominating after the opening stanza.
Your Timberwolves are in the break. They don't play again until the 20th, Friday the 20th. But yesterday, 133-109 winners over Portland at home. Story was Julius, 41 points.
Yeah.
Everyone taking pictures with him and just the social media afterwards. He went off. He had a great game to go into the All-Star break.
Well, Randall, and there was some discussion about whether some of his inconsistencies before a really good finish are related to having his feelings hurt because he didn't get named the All-Star team. And he did acknowledge that might have been bugging him just a little bit, even though he said he didn't have really any control over it. Who knows? With this team and its foul moods, to use the term, that's not my term, that's the head coach's term, it's very difficult, I think, to pin any sort of inconsistency on any one item. It just seems to be kind of in the DNA of the club. The question is whether that might bite them more than it did a year ago. Because let's remember something. I mean, they ended up in the conference finals from, I think we were a 6th seed last year. And that's my concern, is that, and right now I think they're in the 6th spot, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And they're not that far from moving up, but they're also not that far from moving down. And I hope it's not a case of we know if we can turn it on, we're going to be fine. As I don't know if I'm quite as confident about that this season. I do like Dosunmu. I think he showed again.
Fun to watch.
He's very fun to watch because, as I said, there's not a lot of wasted energy with him, and he goes one speed. And by the way, on the fast break, that's fast. And this is a team that has wanted to play faster this year. And when he's on the court, it's almost like the Wolves don't have a choice. His teammates don't have a choice but to run with him. So, again, how big are these last 2 games? I think they became a little bigger simply because the team had fallen so severely. And so it probably more attention than there should be has been devoted to what they would do, whether they could finish on a higher note heading into the All-Star game. It doesn't clinch anything, But I do think they very much needed to sort of reassert themselves, which they did both offensively and defensively.
The Twins, they are making moves. Whether or not their moves worthwhile is another thing. But they've signed right-hander Liam Hendriks and Julian Merriweather to minor league deals, and they made a trade for a left-hander, Anthony, I'm going with Banda, in a trade with the Dodgers today. So 3 veteran options, as this article says, to deepen a rebuilt bullpen. From ball guys that I trust, this is another trade.
Third level move. Yeah.
Well, it's a long line of Twins trades where you go, 5 years ago, that would have been awesome. But now, like the one that sticks out to me is Chris Archer when they went and got him.
Right.
5 years ago, and he was on the Rays, lights out. That was 5 years ago, and now he's not very good, and he got shipped out.
That's very true. It's hard to get excited about. The assumption is, look, sometimes the little moves work out. Baseball's weird that way. You can't rule that out, but it's hard to attach any significance to almost any of them because they all feel like desperation moves. Like, maybe he's still got something left. Or maybe we can find a little extra juice in his bat or in his arm or whatever the case may be. And who do we just talk about? The pitcher they got, Liam Hendriks, same thing. I mean, he's got great pedigree, but he's hardly pitched most of the last 3 seasons. It's a minor league contract. And I would, for Twins fans, I think the depressing part, if they're still paying attention, is you sort of, you drop your head when you go, there we go again. We got another guy who had a name a long time ago, and we'll sign him to a minor league deal. That defines us. You feel like that's really our DNA, and there's nothing particularly inspiring about it. It just is, I think, a not so subtle reminder of how much we lack ambition. Can 1 or 2 of these moves end up being better than expected? Because in baseball, it does happen, and, blind acorn squirrel, that kind of thing. Yeah. But as a signature, it's just, every time, it's just a very dutiful reminder of what we are and what we're not.
Spoiler alerts for the women's half-pipe snowboard in 5. Spoilers for the women's half-pipe. I don't know if they're replaying it tonight, but I'm going to say it anyways. Are you familiar with Chloe Kim? The name Chloe Kim.
It does sound familiar, actually.
She was going for the first Olympic snowboarder to win 3 consecutive gold medals this year, and she was dethroned.
Wow.
She got silver. A 17-year-old Choi, there's her last name, of South Korea, scored a 90.25 in her final run. Kim had one more shot to get back on top, but Chloe Kim wiped out on the last of her 3 runs and got silver.
That's the agony of defeat.
It is.
Kind of. Although silver's not bad.
I guess my question, there really isn't a question, but snowboard hockey's number 1. Country mile, everyone knows that. I like border cross too. That's fun. Snowboard cross. But a snowboard half pipe to me is must watch, must DVR television. I think that's get rid of the skiing. That's all well and good. But the snowboard half pipe to me is appointment viewing.
I'm a lot more of a purist than you. Yeah. I love now when I say I love the skiing, I don't spend the other 3.5 years spending that much time on it, but I do very much like it. I think that's an age distinction. I think that's some of it. I think that absolutely. I'm trying to scroll down to see if I can find the quote. It was, this is from 2 days ago. What do you make of this one? This is from the USA Luge's Summer Britcher is her name. And she finished 14th in the women's singles race. This was a couple of days ago. Did you hear her quote or read about it? To be standing here heartbroken is a privilege. I love that quote.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, some people will say, well, that sounds like too, forgiving of herself and come on. But I actually think that quote says a lot. Because that's acknowledging she is heartbroken. I mean, she feels disappointed that she didn't finish higher. But it's also saying, at the Olympics, to be standing here, the idea that I have a chance to be heartbroken at the Olympics is a privilege. I love that quote. That should be one of the top quotes for the Olympics, no matter how many more we get in the next several days.
There's some moron hardo out there that's that's a loser mentality.
Yes, there is. There's no question.
No,
but I would say, like I said, she's acknowledging she's mad. She's unhappy. She doesn't think it's good enough.
Yeah.
But I think she's just trying to remind people that, hey, it ain't bad getting here, and I have to try to put some kind of spin and perspective on that as well.
I could make a similar to the fallness category. If I really wanted to, I could make a Sanders category, whether it be Dion or whether it be Shador.
Yes.
And here's a new article. Former Colorado tight end Christian Fauria is what I'm going with.
Okay.
Well, he went on a podcast and just ripped the hell out of Dion. He said, quote, "I'm just not a fan of the coach. I'm not.
Whoa.
I'll never be a fan of the coach. I love the school, and this isn't me picking on Deion Sanders. It definitely is. Because I picked on Joe Gibbs. The worst coach I ever had was Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs was the worst?
Bullets
What's he
everywhere.
talking? Joe Gibbs was a legend.
So me picking on Deion Sanders is nothing. I just don't like the way he coaches football. I don't think he's very bright. I don't think he can manage a game.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of flash, but no substance, and he's got a lot of people brainwashed.
Man.
Wow.
That's pretty
Have
frontal.
fun going anywhere.
I don't know. I'm not sure I have. If the source is also savaging Joe Gibbs, then I'm not so sure you've. I think you've to a certain extent undermined your own credibility on that. He's one of the legendary coaches, man. We did it with just decent quarterbacks. Did it with basically remade teams. Joe Gibbs is one of the great NFL, probably one of the more underrated, because it's been too long since he's coached NFL head coaches. All right, top 5 at 5 is in the books. We're going to get to bonus bucks here in a minute. I was going to say we got something I want to get to next, but we have to start our interview because it's lengthy, but I think worth every minute with Leslie Frazier. So let's do bonus bucks right now.
Let's do it. The fan wants to give you the shot to win the bonus bucks. Enter the keyword at KFAN.com. The keyword this hour is dollar. The keyword is dollar. KFAN.com. Keyword dollar.
What's it like to ride in a Super Bowl parade? Leslie Frazier, former Vikings head coach, will tell us next.
Man.
We are now pleased to be joined by an old friend of the program, a name that needs very little introduction in the Twin Cities. Leslie Frazier, kind enough to join us via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. Mr. Frazier, how have you been? As if I don't know the answer to that question.
Doing great, Dan. I mean, you saw the game on Sunday.
Yep.
To come back with my third Super Bowl ring, just feeling really, really good. Really good. Really good.
It has to be a great feeling. How did the parade? You had the parade yesterday, I believe. How did the parade go?
The parade was fantastic, man. The fans lined the streets, and they were loud. It was just a great affair. And, we had our trophy presentation where we got in front of the fans at the stadium prior to going on the parade. And, I mean, it was electric and just a fantastic feeling. We were talking about it, me and a few of the staff members today afterwards, and it's just a great feeling, man. Great feeling.
Gotta be. When did you know, or when did you start sensing that you might have something special going this year in Seattle?
Back in the spring, you could see that our team was more connected than we were our first year. You could kind of get a feel, but you don't know until you start playing. But there were signs that we were further along as a team, and some of that had to do with the fact that we had been here for a year. But the way the players and the coaches were really vibing together, and I've been around here long enough to know that matters, the chemistry of your team.
Yep.
And so once we started winning games and just seeing how selfless the guys were, not getting concerned about, did I get the recognition? Did I get the praise? I said, man, this team, they get it. I mean, they're just pulling for each other. And we just continued to have success. And then when we did hit a bump in the road with a loss in L.A., the response then from our players, in particular our defense, because Sam Darnold, our quarterback, had struggled on that day in L.A. And the way they had his back after the game, I said, man, we have a chance to be really special, down the stretch. Because you want to be playing your best ball in late November, December. And sure enough, we hit our stride, and we didn't lose another game the rest of the year, going on and winning the Super Bowl. So right about then, the way we handled that loss to the Rams, with so many things going wrong, and the way we responded, that told me that we had a chance to do something special.
I thought I read, was that the game where at one point in the game you went over to Sam and offered a couple of comments? Was it that game or a different game? I thought I read that you made it a point of kind of talking with him as things were not going very well, and you were very impressed with his response as well.
Wow, you know what? I didn't even know that was out there. But yeah, that's surprising to me. But yeah, in that game, I went over to him because he was struggling. It's been well documented, and I told him, I said, Sam, just keep plugging away, man. Things are going to turn. We're going to be all right. Just don't lose your fastball. Just keep playing. And I said, Sam, before this game is over, you're going to put us in position to win this game. It's going to come back to you to where we're going to need you to put together some plays to give us a chance to win this game. Of course, in my mind, I'm hoping that's true, but you don't know.
Sure.
Because it was looking pretty ugly there for a minute. And sure enough, Dan, here he is, into the game, marching us down for the game-winning field goal,
right,
man. And we came up maybe a yard short. But that told you everything, that despite the fact that he had thrown 4 interceptions on that day and really struggled in some areas, he had enough about him to pull it together to put us in a position to win the game. And, as a coach, you're saying, hey, we got a chance to do something special when a guy can do that. And it happened.
You're describing for me exactly why I'm guessing Mike McDonald wanted to hire you. In fact, I think that's one of the very first, maybe the first phone calls he made when he got the head coaching job. The role that you just laid out as a veteran coach who's been around, knows how to deal not just with the X's and O's, with people. I'm guessing this is exactly the kind of thing that he was hoping you would bring to the table.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Mike and I had worked together in Baltimore, and he saw me operate and saw how I dealt with players and situations and, all those things. But, yeah, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. And I'm thankful that he called me. I'm thankful that he asked me to come help him because it's been great. And to culminate the season with a Super Bowl after just our second year, I mean, it's just who would have expected that in 2 years we'd be hoisting the Lombardi,
It's amazing. Well, you know what I like about it, too, is obviously, he's about half your age or close to it. When I think he got hired, was he, 34? I think he's 36 now. And he obviously, something about what he saw with you in Baltimore stuck with him. I like when younger coaches don't think they've got it all figured out and still see value in people who've been around the league like you.
Now, Dan, I tell you, what you just said, a lot of people who get or put in those positions to be head coaches don't have the foresight to see that, and I'm one of them. I wish when I was the head coach there in Minnesota, I had done that myself, hired someone that's in the role that I'm in to help me. There's so many things as a first-time head coach you just don't know. And you have to go through some ups and downs to try to figure some things out. Well, with my being here, I'm able to try to help Mike not make some of the same mistakes I made as a first-time head coach. And Ron Rivera, who was a teammate of mine, and we were comparing notes, and we both said, man, I wish we could have done the same thing. So you have to credit John Snyder and Mike for having the wherewithal to say, what? We're hiring, at the time, the youngest head coach in the National Football League. Let's get some experience around him. Let's get someone who's had head coach experience and help him along the way. And it's worked out great. I mean, it's just really, really good move by them.
Been a terrific, the two of you back together was obviously worked out very, very well among many great moves that they made in Seattle Former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier, kind enough to join us this afternoon. Give me a little bit more about what your role, you view as your role within the team as assistant head coach. I think I saw a quote from Mike after the game, basically saying, we're not here without Les Frazier. And I think one of the things he said at some point was, well, one of the things he does is when we put something really stupid in the game plan, Les is the guy who says, wait a minute, guys, what are we thinking here? Let's not reinvent the wheel. So give me a sense of what your role has been day to day with him.
Well, I'm doing really everything that a head coach would do without having a head coach title. I mean, Mike has given me the freedom to be a part of our offense planning, whatever we're doing on offense, to kind of, have input. The same thing with our special teams, and obviously with our defense. But similar with John, with our personnel department, being able to give input on, what I see with our team and what our needs are. So it's been a blessing, Dan, in so many ways to utilize the experience I have over these years in this role. And, it takes an egoless head coach to let you be able to do that, where Mike trust and John both trust me in this role. And that's important because Mike Holmgren asked me this question. When he saw that I was coming, he comes over from time to time. He said, now, Les, I'm glad you're here. He said, but are they listening to you? And I told him, I said, Coach, they are. Because, Dan, as you know, if they didn't listen, then you're going like, well, what am I here for?
Sure.
And they do listen. And not that everything I say is what needs to be done. It's just my point of view. And I just give my suggestions. But that part of it has been great. And that kind of is what my role is, to be there and be a sounding board and to, give advice when I can.
You took a year off after leading running the Buffalo defense, obviously. I think it was 2023. You decided to stay out of it. And, I think that's the first time you've been out of it in one level or another in a long time. So tell me what went into your thinking there and what you feel like you learned during that year off.
We had another good season in Buffalo. We had fallen short in the playoffs, and we were away for our break after the playoffs ended. And I was at home, and I was just thinking about the 2023 season, and we had gone through a lot that year. That was was the year that Hamlin had gone through what he went through in that Cincinnati game, and emotionally, that was a draining part of our season as well. And I was just thinking about and contemplating the next move and what I wanted to get accomplished. And we were getting ready to go to the combine. It was like that Friday before the combine, and I still mentally and emotionally wasn't quite ready to get back on the horse again and start getting ready for another season. And I just called Sean and Brandon, and I said, I think I'm going to just take a break from football this season and just recalibrate and just see where it takes me from there. And I mean, it was not an easy decision, Dan, because as you said, I've been involved in it since college and high school, and so every fall, getting ready for a season. And but I think looking back at it, it was the right thing for me at that time, even though it was a hard decision. Didn't know that I would be in Seattle at the time. Didn't know where I'd be if I decided to come back, and I wasn't sure that I would come back and continue to coach. But I'm so glad that John and Mike called and invited me to come and help here because it's been really, really good, really good.
Leslie Frazier, that's who you've been listening to, former Vikings head coach. In fact, he came to the Vikings in 2007 as defensive coordinator, and then he became head coach in 2010, first as an interim and then permanently, leading the team to the playoffs in 2012. We got a lot more ground that we covered with him earlier, the now three-time Super Bowl champion, going back to some of his Bears days. He talks about a couple regrets he has with the Vikings and even some opinions about the fact that Sam Darnold was available to his new team, the Seattle Seahawks. We'll play back part 2 with one of the real pros in the football business, Leslie Frazier, when we continue. Ordinarily, I'd ask if folks listening who wanted to check in via the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line 64686 with Leslie Frazier. Maybe you have a question for Les, the former Vikings head coach. But we had to tape this interview because of a very busy schedule today for him before the show began. In fact, I think he was interviewing or part of the interviewing process for a new coordinator. It's the old, there's no rest for the weary. You know, you just win a Super Bowl, but you're right back at it immediately. And people are saying, what can you do for me lately? So we did catch up with him before the show because I've been meaning to do this all season, quite frankly, with the Seattle success. And now that he has won another Super Bowl, his third, this was the perfect time. He got back to us almost immediately. And I want to continue our discussion. We cover a lot of ground in this part, including some of his playing career, which gets kind of not unappreciated, but I don't think it's underrated because he was such a really good cornerback, and that was a long time ago. He's been in this game for a while. There's some stuff about his time here with the Vikings, and also some, I think, honest introspection, shall we say, about his own situation, things he might have done differently, and even the quarterback situation as it was when he was here and how it was last season for the Minnesota Vikings when they said no to Sam Darnold, opening the door for to Seattle to say yes to Sam Darnold as well. So here's part 2 with I call him a pro's pro, former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier. Did it refresh you? I mean, that year, did you watch a lot of football, even though you weren't in it? Did you stay away from it as much as possible? Did you travel? How did you use that year away?
Actually, I did some work with the media. I was working with NFL Network.
Okay. I don't even remember that.
Time.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have a home in Los Angeles, in Southern California, not in L.A., but in Orange County. And so it was really easy for me to stay connected that way and just to kind of get a feel for what my next move would be if I was going to come back and coach again or maybe do something media-wise. Sure. So I was fortunate that they let me be a part of what they were doing, so that kept me involved with the game and how things were going with the league. And that was a great experience. Learned a lot, really enjoyed it. Could have continued if I had wanted to continue. But when this opportunity came, I couldn't say no to it. I'm glad I didn't. There's not any question in my mind that you should have had at least one, maybe two more opportunities to be a head coach. I also sense there are times where you tire of the subject because you live it. And maybe, you don't even want questions about this anymore. Are you at peace with... Well, I'll just ask you, do you think there's a chance? Do you still hold on to a hope that there's a chance that you would get another shot? Where are you in that whole, I guess, continuum? So, Dan, you know how the media sessions are at the Super Bowl now. Yep. I mean, there's a ton of media, and we did media Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and some on Thursday, but that was the number one question that came up. It was more about the 10 openings this offseason, yes, and not one black coach getting an opportunity to be a head coach. So it came up, over and over and over from different media outlets. And the question was asked, one guy asked me, he said, why you didn't get another chance to be a head coach? He told me, he said, I'm listening to you answer these questions, and you're head coach. Yeah. And it was humbling to hear that from a media member. But my answer to him was, at my age group, that's probably not what owners and general managers are looking for. Not that I agree with that, but that's just not the direction that you see teams going, and so I'm okay with that. I do think I could add something if someone presented the opportunity, but I also know how it works, and I'm in a good place. I'm in a really good place.
Does it anger you that with the 10 openings, which is a lot, more than even more years, that there was not a single black coach hired as a head coach? Does that anger you?
It disappoints me because I know there are coaches that are capable. You have one there in Minnesota, and Brian Flores, yep. And I think of Vance Joseph, and there are others that I know are capable. Why it didn't happen? I mean, that's probably a question for those general managers and owners at those respective teams, those 10 respective teams. But just disappointed that no one got an opportunity.
Yeah, and then there's that age-old issue, which I think you've addressed before. You got the Rooney Rule, but then there's the concern of, well, am I being interviewed as a guy who has a real chance, is going to be given a real chance to get this job, or am I just filling, the quota, whatever the case may be? That's also got to be part of the frustration, because I think the Rooney Rule made some sense. I'm just not sure it's succeeded in the way that it was intended.
I agree with you on that. I do. Sometimes I'm asked, should the Rooney Rule just be abolished? But I remember when people of color were not getting any interviews. Yeah. So there's a place for the Rooney Rule. It's just, how it's being enacted. And you don't want it to be abused. And that's something I know that the commissioner, Roger Goodell and Troy Benson in the league office, they're looking into and just trying to figure out how they can make better use of the Rooney Rule, but to abolish it or no longer have it, I don't know if that's the right thing either.
How many people, like it's Super Bowl week, the reporters, how many of them were aware of what a terrific cornerback you were? Because I went back to look at the stats. Your last 3 years, you had 18 interceptions in 43 games, which is astonishing. And obviously it got all cut short because of the injury in the Super Bowl, which we'll get to in a minute. But do you think, how many people out there just think of you as a coach, former head coach, and a lifelong assistant, and don't know that you're an undrafted player who ended up becoming a top-line National Football League cornerback?
Probably not very many. I mean, not very many today, because I'm known more as a coach. Although some of our players, they do look up some of those stats, but they're more considered. The question the subject that comes up more is the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah, there
from
you
our
go.
playing days with our players. But,
yes.
But yeah, most media members, I think they see me as a coach and forget that I played. Yeah.
You got injured, obviously, on a return. I think it was in the second quarter of that game. I think we've talked about it before, but I don't remember whether, once you got hurt, were you back, did they take you immediately back to the locker room? Did were you able to watch the game, come back out at any point? Because obviously that was one of the great dominant Super Bowl performances, and you're not able to enjoy it the same way. What do you remember about after the injury and what you were able to pay attention to?
It's funny you bring that up, because a lot of those memories, I probably reflected on it more during this period than I have in a long, long, long time. And part of it is I was reminded that it was 40 years ago, Dan, that I played in that game, and it was against New England.
That's right.
Yeah, Chris Berman and some other people that were interviewing me here brought that up, and it made me think a little bit about that experience and what it was like. And so for me, when I got injured, I thought for sure I'd be able to come back and play. I didn't know it was going to be as severe as it turned out to be. I thought I'd be back in the game. I thought maybe, I just twisted my knee and just got to work it out. And then I looked down at my knee when I was on the sidelines, and I saw how swollen it had become. So we go in at halftime, and at that point, I really couldn't flex my leg. So I knew then I wasn't going to be coming back in the game. So we go back out. I'm in street clothes, and I'm just watching, but at the same time, I always thought that I would, even if I couldn't come back in that particular game, that my career would continue on. But I thought I would be that guy who, at the time, ACL surgeries were career-ending injuries for the most part. But I just, in my heart, I just thought that somehow, some way, I was going to defy the odds. But it just didn't happen.
No, that ended it, right? That ended the career. You never. That was your last game.
Yeah,
right. Amazing.
That was my last game as a player. Buddy Ryan brought me to Philadelphia, passed me on the physical, but I never regained my range of motion to be able to sprint and do the things you got to do at corner. So that was it. That was it.
When you look back on what you think your strength was, I mean, I felt like for that defense, the 46 defense, which you know well, and obviously I knew well because I covered it so much back in those days, and of course that was the team that I grew up rooting for, and that my dad grew up rooting, or was a big part of rooting for as well. There was a lot of pressure on the corners because of the blitz packaging, the fact that there was so much pressure. It doesn't work if you don't have man corners who can cover man to man as well as you did, right? So what was it? Was it quickness? Was it smarts? Was it speed? What was it for you?
Dan, you are an authority on that defense, because what you said is so true. If you don't have the corners that can cover, because we were a pressure team, that defense is not nearly as effective. And Buddy would tell you that, Buddy Ryan, our great defensive coordinator. But what helped me was in college at Alcorn State University, that's what we were. We were pretty much a man-to-man team, and my college roommate, who was drafted by the Eagles in the first round and played 9 or 10 years in the NFL, named Roynell Young, we were the opposite corners. And that was our job, to be able to play man-to-man. So when I came to Chicago, and they were looking for DBs because they were struggling in the secondary and trying to fill that spot to the point where they were auditioning basketball players and baseball players, just trying to find a guy who could play corner. The fact that I had played so much man really helped me to fit in with Buddy's defense, and that was my strength, being able to play press man, and I had pretty good length, and I had good ball skills because I had a high school coach named Bill Hutnell, and I don't want to take up all your time, Dan, but he taught me how to catch. He taught me how to catch punts before I went to college, and he said, let's say, because I asked him, I said, Coach, why do you think I need to learn how to catch punts? And he taught me how to hold for extra points and field goals as well. He said, you're going to go to college, and one of the things you'll realize is the more things you can do, the better it will be for you. And he was right. He taught me how to catch punts. I go to college. The second game of the season, our punt returner, who was also a defensive back, gets injured. I become the starting punt returner. I end up returning a punt against Grambling University for a touchdown. And, man, it was like I was looking back and saying, that's because of Coach Hudnall saw something in me and said, I'm going to teach him how to catch punts to help him later on in college. And but the ball skills, along with being able to play press man, to answer your question, those are my strengths as a player.
Is it hard for you, as mythic as that team has remained? I mean, that team resonates not just in Chicago, where it resonates most of all, but around the country, despite the fact that it's been that long. How difficult is it for you to still comprehend the notion that, for example, Sweetness, Walter Payton, and obviously Steve McMichael more recently are gone?
Man, it's hard to know that they're gone, and they were so special as people and obviously great players, but to lose them so young in life is just it's really hard. I had a chance to visit both Steve and Walter towards the end of their respective lives, and it's just very, very difficult to comprehend and to accept. And I know how hard it's been for their families. But they made a tremendous impact on the football field and off. Both big personalities in their own way, but tremendous friends, tremendous teammates as well.
I've told you this before, but it's been a while since we've chatted. The 85 team for me, even though at that point I'm a reporter, right? I'm not supposed to be as much of a fan. I'm working in Dallas at that point, and because I was like the national NFL reporter, so out of Dallas. But because you were the dominant team, I'm in Chicago all the time, which worked out perfectly for me because my mom's dealing with cancer, and she would pass away along the way. Your 85 run that I've said it to Mike Ditka, I said it to a couple other people. That run kept my father and me going, as odd as it sounds. It obviously didn't take away the pain of what my mom suffered from at age 50 from cancer. But that was sort of the thing that sort of the one light that kind of gave us a little bit of a break from time to time, an escape from the daily rigors of what she was dealing with. So I in that sense, you'll always be in my heart. That team and you will always be in my heart.
Wow, man, you just made my day with that. I mean, to know that our team had that kind of an impact on your family and your dad and yourself in particular, I mean, that means a lot. That team, as you mentioned, still resonates, obviously, in Chicago, but really across the country. I get people asking me about that team so often, man. It's just amazing, the impact that team had on fans and on our league as well. And who would have thought it, back then, that it would still resonate 40 years later, but it does.
It's astonishing.
It's a great team.
I've kept you way too long. I want to finish with this because we're here. We're still in Minnesota. A lot of people remember you and remember your time here quite fondly. How do you look back on your time here, right? You got here, I think, in 2007. Then eventually you become interim head coach, and then you get the permanent head coaching job. How do you look back on your time here now that there's been some distance between them?
Yeah, it was really good for me. I mean, to be able to come and grow as a coordinator and then to eventually be a head coach. I wish we could have won a few more games,
sure.
But that experience has helped me in my role today. So I have fun memories of our fans, how loud that dome would get, man. Wow. It was special when we had it going. So, and the great players that I had a chance to be around, Adrian, Kevin and Pat Williams, so many really, really good players, E.J. Henderson, just good people. And the way the fans treated me when I was there, I'll never forget it. I still, from time to time, run into some Vikings fans, and we have good conversations and a good time. So I have fun memories of those times, and I wish the organization, the Will family, and everybody that cheers for the Vikings, I wish them nothing but the best.
Well, I will admit, we talked about this the week of the Super Bowl. There is some pain here about the fact that the quarterback who was here a year ago, Sam Darnold, goes there and gets the team to the Super Bowl, and obviously then wins the Super Bowl. There is, that some people tried to take the high road and say, no, I'm happy for Sam, it's great, but I know it hurt a lot of folks because of the way it ended with Sam here. Were you surprised that Sam was available after the season that he had here?
I have to be honest with you. I was. I just know how hard it is to find the quarterback. I mean, you know what we went through there trying to find the right quarterback during my tenure. And so when you have one, man, you got to hold on to him. But we, worked out great for us. Sam is a tremendous person, as you know, and a really, really good player. And so we're fortunate. We're fortunate that we got him. I don't know all the particulars about why he was let out, but it worked out great for us.
Yeah, and you, in the meantime, get associated with another outstanding defense. I'm not going to ask you to compare them because I don't think anything can compare to the 85 Bears defense you were a part of as a player. But obviously a terrific defense that you guys helped put together in Seattle. Again, I apologize for how long this has gone, but there's nobody I enjoy talking to more than you, man. It's great to catch up. I'm delighted that you had such a great season, another rewarding season, a third Super Bowl ring, man. Not many people can say that.
I know it. I'm so blessed, man. So blessed. And thank you, Dan, for your friendship all these many years, man. Really appreciate you.
Leslie Frazier, really good to catch up with him for reasons that I think should be obvious. He went pretty deep there. Now, it might have hurt towards the end because he did say, yeah, I kind of was surprised that Sam was available. Now, again, he knows there's circumstances, and we don't have to rehash that, whether the Vikings are going to give him the same kind of deal that Seattle did. But you do have to say that Seattle believed enough in Sam, despite the way last season finished, to say, we'll take that. And we think we can actually improve upon it. And that's exactly what the Seattle Seahawks did. And Leslie Frazier, a key role. I love it when the kid head coach says, what do I want to do? I know I'm with it. I'm special. I'm going to go back to a guy I worked with years ago, the wise old Leslie Frazier, twice my age. And I'm going to say, that's who I want with me. And it was interesting to hear Les Frazier say, he wishes he would have taken that approach when he was here. Because the league is definitely, in terms of head coach, it's skewing young. That's the way to go, right? Good BMI. Ages between the ages of 35 and 40. And we're going to go with it because that's the direction a lot of teams are going in this league. But the smart ones, the smart young ones who know they don't know as much as they might think they know or want to believe they know, is get some folks who've been around it a little bit. Get some even-keeled, grizzled veteran head coaches or former head coaches and put them in the mix. And it'll make me smarter. It'll make all of us smarter. And so it's been a great marriage in Seattle. It sounds like, based on what Leslie said, he's been given a lot of authority and a lot of chance to not only be involved in the defense, but be involved in the offense as well. And I do believe, as frustrated as I think he still is, Leslie is, that he never got a second shot, which he deserves as a head coach, that he's enough of a realist to say, on the basis of his age, realistically, he's probably not going to get that second shot. The only X factor would be you just get a general manager who's always respected him and felt like, no, he's what we want. We're going to give him a shot. So it sounds, though, as if he's at peace with where he is now, and it sounds like he's in a great situation to continue to be, if not the head coach, an associate head coach, and have every opportunity to make his mark on a now, believe it or not, Super Bowl champion. Top of the hour pause, and when we come back, we'll get into a couple of other items and also get to a couple of texts, one of them involving occasional producer Brett Blakemore. Stay on.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. It's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Enter keywords and learn more at KFAN.com.
So your name came up, Brett Blakemore, when we had Louie on Tuesday. Somebody had texted.
Was I getting ripped?
No.
Oh.
Well, you were, to the extent that you might have fomented this particular controversy, yes.
Okay.
And it goes back to Beyond the Pond that Micheletti had said or claimed that Lou Nanne had deprived him of the opportunity to participate in, was it the Olympics? Was it the Olympics?
The 88 Olympics.
Okay,
Yep.
the 88 Olympics. I asked Louie about it without knowing any of the background. And at first he denied it. Then he said, well, I guess anything's possible. But can you confirm that story? And what exactly is the allegation against Luigi?
So I want to first point out, before I get to telling the story, that Pat was very reluctant to point the finger.
Well, how did it come up? Just because we're talking, you guys are talking Olympics?
So I had my breakaways bit where I can just kind of go wherever I want.
So you did foment it, didn't you?
No, actually.
Because you'd have no way of knowing it without him bringing it up, right?
My question was, if you were born 5 years earlier, do you think you would have made the miracle team? That was my question.
I see. Good question.
So, and then he was like, no, Herbie wanted faster skaters, trying to, be humble, which I respect. But then he goes, I could have played in the 88 Olympics when I was playing with the North Stars, but they didn't let me go. And I was like, oh, who didn't let you go? And he goes, well, I don't want to say, well, it was Lou Nanny's decision. Well, I didn't want to say that. And he was trying to genuinely not drop that. And me and Kev, being the pests we are, go, oh, so it was Lou Nanny's fault that you didn't let. So I think they were sending him down, is my understanding of the story.
Oh, okay.
They were sending him down to AHL. So he's like, why don't they just let me go to the Olympics anyway? And apparently Luigi said no.
Wow.
So sad, really.
That's the background. Okay, well, that's good to know. At least there's something. Louis, I think he started by denying it, and then he kind of went with, well, who knows? I don't think he remembered much about it, which is possible.
Well, that was Pat's, so he probably doesn't remember. And me and Kev go, oh, yes, he does. He remembers everything. He
usually does remember everything. That's true.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just pretending in this case to not remember. I guess that is possible.
Well, I ended up looking the stats up for Pat that year for the North. He played 12 games, so he wasn't a coveted player that you got to hold on to. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, it's just more fun to poke fun.
Was it automatic that he was going to be selected to the team?
That's how he made it seem. Like he was ready to go.
Is that right?
Yeah. Huh? So,
okay. If you say so, I don't know. It was interesting because I didn't have enough background to really be able to sort of challenge him on it, you could say. But that was very interesting. I'm trying to find the quote that. Well, there's a couple of them. We're going to run out of time though. One of them's Jared Allen related because he apparently made some comments about our quarterback situation, the former Viking great. But where did the quote go that I loved from the U.S. Olympian, trying to be very philosophical about not, shall we say, performing all that well, but it was still a privilege? I can't find the damn thing. Oh, here it is. This is from U.S. luge competitor Summer Britcher. Finished 14th in the women's singles race. To be standing here heartbroken is a privilege. To be standing here heartbroken is a privilege, which I thought was a pretty profound, kind of thing to say, don't you? Well, we have one texter, Todd, who's trying to localize that story. Here's what he writes. The Minnesota Twins could say, to be this low in payroll is a privilege. Well played. Very, very well played. I have no arguments with... To have
the opportunity to be in the MLB and eliminated by the All-Star break is a privilege.
No question about that. What do we got going? Let me get to a couple Leslie Frazier texts that have come in. We just played back our extensive conversation with him as he celebrates winning a third Super Bowl ring, second as a coach. He had one as a member of the 1985 Monsters of the Midway. Not a better man than Coach Leslie. So happy for him. Fantastic interview with Leslie. Is there an easier person to root for, writes Clayton from Rochester? If you're a quarterback sitting on the bench or a rube sitting on a bench waiting for a bus and Leslie tells you that you can do something, how do you not believe him? Thank you for interviewing Leslie Frazier, writes Randy from Richmond, Virginia, originally St. Cloud. Really great interview. One of the best interviews I've heard you do, especially your touching story with your mom and your dad, brought me to tears. That's all true. I've run that same story by Iron Mike Ditka when he had him on. That for me, beyond that being a mythic team because of what it accomplished, there was always this sort of special emotional space because of what we were dealing with at the time. And it was really had more to do with my father. It was the only outlet, only time he could kind of get away from the daily ravages of cancer with my mother was watching the Bears dominate to the degree that they did. And I've mentioned it before. That's, I haven't gone to the only Super Bowl I attended as a fan was the 85 Bears. So January of 1986 in New Orleans, because by then, my mom had passed away. And we decided, all right, we're going to go to the game. And it was a very good experience, although still obviously very difficult given the loss as well. Did the Beyond the Pond. I got another text about a PJ extension. So I'm going to have to ask Guardsy about this because My assumption is it's one of those, they keep extending his contract by a year. I think they did that again this year. I don't remember. And I don't know what's built into there in terms of raises. And maybe it's always been built in. I have no idea. But I know they keep doing the one. My recollection is we just kind of keep doing 1-year extensions with him. But I don't know if there's something new. Did you see anything via StarTribune.com that I'm missing?
It hasn't come across my desk, no. But maybe it just gets buried. There's so many of them.
It's the way the game is played, I don't love it.
Oh, yeah.
But, you found it?
So this is a Care 11 piece.
Okay.
University of Minnesota and head football coach PJ Fleck has agreed to a new contract, which includes a monetary bump in performance incentives.
Right.
Board of Regents approved a new contract as well as $700,000 management bonus to boost his salary to $7.9 million. The terms of the new contract will give him a $750,000 bonus for winning 7 or more Big Ten games in a season, $300,000 for 6, $150,000 for 5. The previous contract had paid $100,000 bonus for winning 8, so on and so forth. So there's some new bonuses going on, keeping him through the program through 2030.
2030, you say? And this is 2026?
It is.
All right, yeah, it's... Again, it's sort of the way the game is played. Are there some years where I'd say, let's skip the extension? Yeah. Might this be one of those years for me? Yeah. Yeah, I know we won the bowl again, but I don't want to go back through this season and, the stark contrast between the close games beating terrible teams and the blowout games in which you were not even competitive against the good teams. There's just, to me, not a lot in that resume right now to say there is another, what's the best term to use here? Another level upwards that he represents. We know he has definitely raised the basement, right? No question about that. But are we really taking them seriously as a team that, is going to have one of those breakout? I don't even want to say at the Indiana level. I'm saying even a little below the Indiana level. The answer is no. We haven't had one of those basically since 2019 for sure. Where were we here? Your Leslie Frazier interview was great. His take on the Darnold situation underscored my frustration with Vikings management. They catch lightning in a bottle, but it's not the kind of lightning in a bottle. It's not the right kind of lightning in a bottle, so they get rid of it. And their plan is to get the right kind of lightning in a bottle, fails miserably. Case Keenum and now Sam Darnold signed Paul in Blaine. We know why they did it, again. But it's interesting because I think there's a couple of Vikings who's kind of veteran members of the Vikings. One defensive player who basically said, we were kind of surprised. And it's related to what Leslie said. It's so hard, even in a regular season sense, to get the kind of quarterback who produces to that level that, there's a part of you that says, don't tempt the gods. Don't tempt fate. Find a way. And like I said, my way was I didn't blame them for not wanting to sign him long-term, but that I would have strongly considered franchising him even if he didn't like it. As we say in this business, it's show business, not show friends. And what might he have been cranky about that? I don't know. But to me, that was the way out of the box, where you're not committing. And then if he follows up on the way he finished his first season with you, then that's it. You can walk away at pretty much at that point. All right, let's wrap up the program. Quick break, and we'll come back and remind you what else you missed today and what we have coming up on a very busy Friday show. Stay tuned.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
It's brought to you by American Pressure.
We returned Dr. Dan's inbox to the program, and reaction was, I think, muted. I think there was a feeling that it felt a little bit rusty. It's like anything else for our letter writers, I think. We haven't done an inbox in forever. So to expect that immediately we were going to be at top level is probably unfair. But it's a process, right? So bringing it back, I think, leads to the next time where people get better in the groove, and I think we'll have even greater success. I thought there were several very good letters today as well, but we'll try to keep that back, put that back more on a regular basis moving forward, as it once was, kind of a regular staple. By the way, a couple people are saying that professional players were not eligible. He wouldn't have been eligible for.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah, is that? Do you have that clarification?
So I looked at the 88. I saw that text. I looked at the 1988 U.S. Men's Olympic roster. There are a handful of professional players on there.
Oh, there are.
Brian Leach, his current team is listed as the Rangers. There's a couple minor leaguers as well. There's one guy from the Rangers, Steve Leach.
Okay.
Couldn't forget him. But then there's a bunch of college guys after that. So there were some professionals in this roster.
All right.
I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
But truth cannot be controversial.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that, and maybe we'll try to get to the bottom of it at some point. Louis had said he must have been talking about the World Championships, not the Olympics. That's true. That's what Louis was, but Micheletti was talking about the Olympics.
He said Olympics.
Okay, fair enough. In any case, inbox was at 4:02 today. A lot of good Olympic conversation early. We tried to nurture the notion that all the officials are against us at the Olympics, and is that going to end up being one of the recurring themes? Because at that point, two of our goals have been waved off in the first period. USA men's Olympic hockey versus Latvia. And also, apparently our ice dancing pair got jobbed by the officials last night. Then there was another competitor. I don't even remember what was it speed skating? There was another event in which we won it, but then the victory was taken away because of a collision. So we'll keep an eye on that theme, because Lord knows we love whining about being jobbed by the officials when it comes to Minnesota teams, and maybe that's going to end up being part of the story in Milan Cortina as well in the Winter Olympiad this time around. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm assuming Ben Gessling will join. Prediction segment done. I think I won the postseason, by the way, going away. Because I know I picked Seattle to cover. I didn't even think it was going to be close, and it wasn't particularly close.
Is it a relief that the predictions are done?
That might be. Yeah. Well, no, I was just getting hot.
Yeah, you got
actually,
hot
it's a relief not to have to mess with Gerby for a while. That's true.
I'll miss him.
And then you always do. And then Lavelle will join, I'm assuming, regular time. And we may add another guest, because we're in the kind of the sports abyss period for sure. So that might be part of the indeed part of the deal. Tonight is, I'm assuming, Fan on Demand on the air night.
It is. And no games.
We got no games, special. Right? Because the Wolves are done. Wolves All-Star break, NBA All-Star break has hit. We'll probably get back to we discussed this, as you recall, a lot on Sermons Sunday. This new wave of tanking and degrees of tanking in the National Basketball Association, shutting players down, all of this stuff. I think there's still more meat on that bone to discuss, so we'll probably get back to that tomorrow. I know it'll be a big topic All-Star Weekend for sure, because it's juicy and it makes sense. It's sadly extremely topical as well. So that might be part of the festivities on tomorrow's broadcast. Obviously, the Wild are done because of Olympic hockey. So this is kind of an abyssy period, but a lot of good attention devoted, rightly, I think, to the Winter Olympics. So I'm sure we'll get into more of that tomorrow as well. This is out of nowhere. Adam in Fargo is currently ice fishing and listening. How does Motzko keep his job after this year? With all the conversations, he has never won a thing with St. Cloud or the Gophers, yet all the other programs from North Dakota to UMD and St. Thomas are all nationally ranked, I should say. We haven't talked much Gopher hockey for a while with Louis. Louis is very supportive of Motzko. I have a hard time believing that he's in any kind of significant trouble. This year's been troubling. Is that fair to say? I mean, I know we lost a lot of people, and allegedly there's ups and downs. I'd like to think we're one of those programs, though, where the downs should never be as down as this year has been. So maybe we'll explore that subject as well. Some point we'd like to get Russo in the conversation, but he's very busy. Billy Guerin in the conversation. He's kind of busy, but we'll get him eventually. And maybe even our old buddy Tim Conley, who is the president of basketball operations for the Wolves. Mike Conley's still not back with the Wolves. When he is, we're all expecting it eventually. Our hope is to get reacquainted with him on the air as well. Thanks again for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you tomorrow beginning at 3 o'clock right here on The Fan.